So for this first one, number 3, it gives us the center and it gives us a point on the circle. So if we kind of just, in this case, kind of just draw a little sketch of it, and you don't do this every time. You just do it the first time to kind of show you what's going on. We've got a circle at 14, negative 13. We'll say that's right there. And we've got a point on the circle. So we've got a circle that goes around here. That's our center. And we've got a point on this circle. That's at 14, negative 18. Essentially, we've got a radius here that we could find. Because remember, the radius goes from the center of the circle to a point on that circle. So the way we're going to do this is if you've got 2 points, you can find the distance between those 2 points by using the distance formula. We talked about the distance formula the other day. So the distance formula, the way I like to describe it, it's your change in your x's squared plus your changes in your y squared. And that's going to give us our radius. And once we have our radius, we're good to go. So if we look at our x values, my x value goes from 14 to 14. So when I say how much does it change, it doesn't change at all. So the change in x is going to be 0 squared. Why it's doing that today. The y value is going from negative 13 to negative 18. So it's changing by negative 5 or 5. Doesn't matter which way you say it because you're going to end up squaring it anyway. So let's just say we use negative 5, but we're going to square that anyway. 0 squared is 0. Negative 5 squared is 25. So 0 plus 25 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So that tells us that our radius of this is equal to 5. Well, now we know the radius. We know the center of the circle. Now we have ones just like we got done doing. Making sure we use the center. That's x minus 14 squared plus y plus 13 squared. And remember, it's r squared. So 5 times 5 is 25. And you're done. That's the equation of a circle that has center 14, negative 13, and a point on a circle of 14, negative 18. Okay. So you have to use that distance formula in order to find that radius. Okay, so let's look at question number 4 then. So we've got a center at 17, negative 11, and we've got a point on a circle of 15, negative 11. Well, again, all else fails, you can write the first part of it because we have the center. So I can sit here and go x minus 17 squared plus y plus 11 squared equals, I've got half the question right. Now we just have to figure out what it equals. How much is my x value changing from one to the other? It's going from 17 to 15. How much is it changing? 2. So we're going to take 2 and square it. Plus, how much is my y value changing? 0. 2 squared is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So my radius is 2. So what is this going to equal?
Oh, that's not bad. It's a 4, right?
It's just 4. Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's actually not bad.
No, and what you should notice is whatever is right here, it's going to be right there. Because really, you're taking the square root of something, and then you're squaring it.
This is like minusing like 17 to 15, and then you basically get the answer.
Right, yeah. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to change number 5 up a little bit. I'm going to make this not 17. I'm going to change this to 19. So now they're both not the same. But it's done the same way. I mean,
So we flip the 5 to -5 and the 17 to -17.
when you write the equation, yes. So it's x minus 5 squared plus y minus 17 squared equals, now we have to figure out what it is. What's the difference between 5 and 6?
So it'll be 1, 2, right?
So it'd be 1 squared. What's the difference between 17 and 19? 2. So plus 2 squared. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 1 plus 4 is, so that'd be the square root of 5.
5.
So this is just going to equal 5.
Wait, what?
Because the square root of 5 gives us something, right? But then when you square the square root of 5, you just end up with 5. So again, whatever is underneath this radical is what that's going to be. Go ahead and give number 6 a try. See if you can do number 6 on your own. Write the equation of that circle with center 13, -14, and a point on the circle of 8, -14. Okay, so we should have, x minus 13 squared plus y plus 14 squared equals difference between 13 and 8. So it's -5 squared plus 0 squared. So that's 5 squared is 25. So this is just going to be 25. Right, your radius is 5. But remember, it's always r squared. Okay. Any questions with that one? All right, so now that we've done that type, the next type of question we're going to look at is going to say, okay, what if we have a tangent line? So what if we know the center and a tangent line? So just to remind you back from geometry, kind of by drawing this a little bit, if we have a center at 916, let's say 916 is right there. And then I have a line that's tangent to it at y is equal to 19. So this is 916. A tangent line at y equals 16, that's just a line at y equals 16. And then what happens here is this circle goes around here, and the circle and the tangent line meet at a 90-degree angle. So where they meet is a point on a circle, and that line that's created now in red is the radius. So if we can find that point right there, we're back to doing it just like we did. Well, has the x value changed at all?
No.
I'm still going over 9, right? This is a 90-degree angle right there. So I'm still going over 9, so that's the point 9. But what's my y value now?
Wait, hold
I'm still going over 9, but what am I going up now? Instead of 16, I'm going up. What's my tangent line equal to? So what's my new y value going to be? 19. So when you're doing that point on there, in this case, the y value is changing, but the x value doesn't. Now, really, you don't even need to do the distance formula for this one. What's the difference between 16 and 19? 3, right? So this radius right there is just 3. And that's how these are always going to work. You can just find that radius. So now, if you did the distance formula, you're going to find the same thing. There's no reason to use it. Because we can write this as x minus 9 squared plus y minus 16 squared. Make sure you use the center. And we know the radius is 3, 17, 18, 19. It's 3. So then this is going to be 3 or 9?
3, 9.
It's going to be 9 because it's always r squared.
So is that like just another way to find it?
Yeah. I mean, so if we look at this next one, if we've got a center at negative 16, 13, we can write the first part of it, right? X plus 16 squared plus y minus 13 squared. What value is changing, the x or the y? By how many? How many is it changing? The x value is changing though, right? Because this is x. So x went from negative 16 to 18. So how much is it changing by? 2. So it's changing by 2. So what's my radius? 2. The radius of that is 2. So what is this going to equal? 4. That's your answer. So you just look what value is changing. The x value is going from 16 to 18. It's changing by 2. So that 2 has to be your radius. That's what it means. And you put 4. See if you can figure out number 10. So x minus 16 squared plus y plus 15 squared. Which value is changing, the x value or the y value? By how many? It's going from negative 15 to negative 18. So our radius is 3. So this is going to be 9. 3 squared. That's your answer. Again, just remember, whichever one is changing, this is y equals, so that means our y is changing. The x value is staying in the chin.
So I did the difference to 15 and 18, just placed it right there. That's it, right?
Yeah, and then square that, but yeah.
Well, I was thinking like 16 and 18.
No, because you just always got to look at the y. Since that's the y, you got to look at the y value.
Oh.
If it was x, look at the x value. Correct. Okay. What if we know the circumference of a circle? So again, as long as we know the center and we know a radius, we can do this. It looks bad, it's not. How do you find the circumference of a circle? What's the formula?
It's like R pi or like.
Close.
Diameter and all.
2 pi r. So I already know the circumference, so what can I put in for the c? In this case, what does c equal? What's the circumference? Tells us 6 pi, right? So what can I replace the c with? 6 pi. Because I know that's what it equals. So 6 pi has to equal 2 pi r. I said all I need is the radius. So what do I have to do to get the radius?
Like, do the same thing.
Divide by 2 pi. Pi's cancel out. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is, so our radius is 3. Well, now we have to write it. So it's going to be x plus or minus 4?
Minus
X minus 4 squared plus y
16.
plus 16 squared equals 9. And you're done. The circumference is 18 pi. So 18 pi equals 2 pi r.
Could you just do that easy way? Or just like 18R divided by 2 is go by like 9 and then it'd be like 81.
If you figured that out in your head,
Yeah.
yes, use it. Because it's right.
What if it's like uneven though? What if it's like a 23?
Then it's just dividing it by 2 still, right? So this would be x plus 3 squared plus y plus 6 squared equals 81. Not so bad, right? Looks bad, but it's not. One last type. Next type then talks about, because why not? The area. What if we're given the center and the area? Now circumference is 2 pi r. What's the area of a circle?
Diameter. No. Shoot.
R squared.
Very good. Pi r squared. So area is pi r squared. And this is even easier. What's our area in this one?
4.
For pi, right? So 4 pi equals pi r squared. Divide by pi, right? So if I divide by pi, I've got 4 is equal to r squared. Is there any sense in taking the square root of it? No, because remember our formula is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. We know r squared is equal to 4. So we can just write this as x minus 12 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals 4.
And that's just no better.
Notice it's that number right there. Don't let fractions freak you out.
I'm so scared.
What's that?
I'm so scared.
Because it's a fraction? What's changed? Anything?
Nothing.
No.
It's just 29 and squared, basically.
So it's just x minus or plus?
Plus.
Plus, right? X plus 29 halves squared plus y plus 5 halves squared